For what reason is the black sheep of your family considered the black sheep? Friend of mine's wife was considered the black sheep of the family because she didn't go to Harvard Medical School. She went to Harvard Business School instead. Edit. All of the other kids in the family had gone to Harvard Med School. Sounds like a failure to me. My cousin. He was such a cool guy growing up. He was about 6 years older than me and was always hanging around my brother and I. He had a house, a beautiful wife and 2 dogs and a really good job making about $65k/year. Then he started dabbling in drugs when he was in his 30s. Within 5 years, he became a full-on junkie. He lost his job, his good friends, his family and his house. He knocked up 2 different meth heads within 3 years and is in and out of jail for theft/vagrancy/failure to pay child support/drug possession, etc. My mom even spotted him begging on a street corner a few years ago. It's a shame because he's such a good person deep down. Everyone used to love him. He just became a hopeless addict and his life went down the tubes. Now no one will even answer his calls. It would be me, because I'm a Chinese guy, from a traditional Chinese family, and I have a full sleeve tattoo and nearly a second sleeve as well as chest, back and legs tats. And instead of doctor or lawyer, I chose film school as my only form of post-secondary. Also I worked in the porn industry for like 5 years, but they don't know that. My brother-in-law tried to convince the family that the wife and I were black sheep because we like cannabis. Bill is now the black sheep because he abuses his soon-to-be ex-wife. That took a turn I wasn't expecting. Has got some demons. That would be me. I grew up in a military household and there is a strong military preference in my family. Father was military. His father was military. My mom's parents were both military. All of my siblings went military except for me. My dad was really hard on me as a teenager about getting out of my shell. I was the youngest and wasn't really into sports. Got into gaming and drawing and just wanted to be left alone in my room. Constantly tried to coax me out. Gave me crap about being alone all the time. Through high school I used to be obsessed with invaderism and doodle stuff, and it got me started in developing my art beyond just little doodles, and I started getting interested in webtoons and webcomics and wanted to do that. At family gatherings he was always really into showing off my older siblings and their various achievements, and through going away parties when they left for boot camp. I used to hang my art up in my room hoping he would kinda notice, but nobody ever wanted to talk about my art or really care about it. When I was 18 he kinda sat me down, still had 5 months of HS left, and started the I need to know your plans talk. He pushed the military very heavily and I kept saying I wasn't interested and that I wanted to focus on an artistic career. He never really got mad, but the disappointment was immeasurable. I asked if I could stay after high school if I found a job and paid rent while I took some art classes at a CC, and he refused, saying he didn't think that was a healthy lifestyle, me staying home that is. To be fair, he didn't let any of his kids stay home though. He refused to spend any money on me whatsoever as well. My brothers both had dirt bikes. I asked for a drawing tablet when I was 16. Found a used one for $350, and despite having spent much more on my brother's hobbies, to include sports and their toys, he refused. I came home to visit a few times in my early 20s, and every family gathering was always about my brothers. He seemed to deliberately avoid asking me about how my life was going. My brothers never seemed interested either. I'm in my 30s now, and I haven't heard from any of my family in over a decade. I think that makes me the black sheep, but it was clear they didn't think I turned out right and had no interest in keeping contact. Because I was brought up so socially repressed, I barely say 2 words to anyone at any extended family gatherings. My dad is considered the black sheep of his siblings. He broke the cycle of having a messed up family. All my cousins on that side were young teenage moms and high school dropouts. My brother and I are the only male cousins. All of them became grandmothers before 35 because all their kids became parents in their young teens and dropped out of high school as well. They all do various drugs, and there was plenty of alcohol addiction. My dad cut them all off when my uncle came to visit us one day when I was like 6 or 7. In reality, Our uncle used our remote location to as the meetup spot to deal drugs to his clients. After strange people started showing up and asking for my uncle, my dad went off on him and told him to never show his face ever again. That was over 2 decades ago. We recently tried reconnecting after a major health scare from one of my uncles. That side didn't change much. Still far from something I would consider healthy. That's when I found out about all my cousins were already grandparents and had drug addicted children. I decided that I wanted nothing to do with them and went back to no contact. My dad did the same. Sadly, because of that decision, no one told us that my step-grandmother died. My parents took a road trip which went by where she lived. They stopped by to see how she was doing, since she was in the hospital the year before. Turns out she never recovered and had died over a year before they got there. Wow. That's a whole lot of fricked up. She likes to start fires. Still does from what we heard from my aunt the last time they visited her in prison and were sent away. As a kid she loved firecrackers way more than the rest of us and mysteriously would be the first witness to report it. Fires all through her high school years. Pyromania is the medical term for it. It is also a great Cascada song. I don't know what I did and am tired of caring about it. Because I married a poor, he's a flooring installer, and I couldn't care less about living in a private club neighborhood McMansion with my own private golf cart in my garage. You're awesome. Thank you. I'm blessed and happy. Because we don't hate on others like the rest of the family does for religious reasons. Apostrophe. FYI, if you claim to be a representative of God, maybe don't make God look like an asshole. And if you kick out your teenage children, you don't have the right to ask why. Don't my kids talk to me anymore. Apostrophe. A rule of thumb, if people say they're Christians, but hate people without remorse, then they are not actually Christians. My experience growing up around Christians, nothing lasts forever. Pump steroids into that phrase, and that's the modern evangelical church. Sooner or later the pastor has an affair/divorce. The church sweetheart is pregnant out of wedlock, and the church is divided by some issue such as homosexuality or abortion. People break off into smaller churches. Weirder people. Also the grifters. So many inspirational speakers who are grifters. Living it up better and better by the decade. Several ones I knew growing up in Oz fled to US or Gold Coast when they had the money. Imagine being paid $40,000 to talk at a church conference. What people don't get about Christians being tolerant is they are tolerating each other as best they can. The most insufferable people I've known have been on a mission to feel God in every department of their life. The mental agony due to reoccurring doubt looks unbearable at times. Good thing it's on the decline. I have a cousin from hell. He is lazy, has been disrespectful since he was a kid and treats his mother as a maid. The dude has kids now and has held to jobs, yet only lasted a day or two because he can't behave as a decent, mature human being. In his teenage years, he caused an accident that got a kid killed. Reckless driving. He doesn't work, so guess who has to pay child support? Sounds like his mom is half of the problem. It also sounds like it's too late to help him. His parents were part of the problem. She is religious and thought that he was a living miracle with some divine purpose. I'm the black sheep and am just wired differently. On paper, I'm the only member of the family who isn't a doctor, and I just always have had a darker awareness and been much more emotional and sensitive. I'm super lucky. They all embrace me for who I am and love me unconditionally, and they have been there for me through struggles with addiction and recovery. So, even though we all now am the black sheep, they do everything they can to not make me feel like one. And that motivates me to stay positive and healthy, even when it feels like it might be easier to be self-destructive. This is a nice one. This was a few years ago. Now she's a lovely person to be around, but I still never fully got over this. My aunt bought us, my siblings and I, all really expensive DVDs to learn French. 3 DVDs for 3 kids each at about $15 to $20 each. My sister decided she didn't want anybody else to know French for whatever reason, so a few days afterwards she destroyed all of our DVDs and blamed it on the dog. We all knew it was her because the dog couldn't have gotten to them. but she only admitted to it after my dad threatened to put down the dog down. If it really was an empty threat obviously, but still effective. I don't watch TV. I save money. I work hard. My family says I think I'm better than them, lol. Sounds like you are. I drink too much. Same. Though very much under control now. Family won't let it go. A few years ago a family member I was living with told family I was getting in at 4 AM and slamming doors, and there were lots of wine bottles in the recycling, and she was worried I was an alcoholic. There was talk of getting me into rehab. I had no idea of these conversations until my mom confronted me and directly asked with all the evidence if I needed rehab. I worked in a restaurant and was training as a sommelier, so if there was a bit of wine left over in a bottle that couldn't be sold, I could take them home to sample and write notes on. Got home at 4 AM because the restaurant closed at 12, and getting people out plus deep cleaning plus night bus home took hours. The doors were fire doors that spring shut, and at 4 AM I always forgot to hold them. I can drink the exact same as mom. She drinks spritzers with terrible wine, so I tend to have more soda water because the wine is gross, and she'll comment on how much I drink despite it being less than her. I feel like the entire family thinks I'm an alcoholic/black sheep because my family member didn't understand the 4 Ams and wine bottles, and it's tarnished me forever. Dude, if that's the only reason, don't sweat it. You're fine. I'm not the black sheep. I'm the tie-dyed one. Because I'm not Christian or conservative. Also, MB. My fundamentalist Christian biological parents disowned me when I told them I was gay. Too bad they didn't stick around to find out I was really a bisexual trans man. Their loss. I'm pretty cool. You hit the LGBTQ jackpot, baby. Congratulations, dude. Actually, I'm considered the black sheep. I have totally different interests than all the other girls in my family. I like spending time talking to boys since I was in 2nd grade. Not in a romantic way, just for chatting, cause I relate to them more. Also, I would love to play games/be a gamer. It's actually my dream career. But due to having strict Muslim parents, they obviously would not let me play any games. Mostly cause I'm a girl, and they think it's a boy thing. Close bracket. Including the fact that I don't believe in Allah. No offense to the Muslims out there. I'm a hidden atheist in a Muslim family. If someone is offended because you don't believe in a god, it is not on you, and you shouldn't apologize. It is in no way offensive, and if someone does get mad over that they are pitiful, it can get you killed in some countries to come out as an atheist. That's me. I'm the black sheep because I come from a very traditional/old school family. Women wearing pants, finishing high school, being allowed to attend college, and not being sold into marriage anymore is seen as being progressive and modern. And I decided that I wanted to live more American lifestyle, have a social life, date, and move away. And I married someone they didn't approve of. He was too dark and from a different island. Over the past decade or so, I think I've transitioned from a black sheep to more of that aunt no one sees or gears from 4 years. But when they do, there's always a bunch of gifts and fun stories involved. But besides me, I think the only other person who counts as a black sheep is my cousin, who has constantly been in and out of jail or drugs and scams. Geez, where the hell are you from? Stole the entire payroll from the company he was working for, bought heroin, and then killed a few people running a red light on heroin. He's a piece of shit. Black sheep opedron. We are. Why? My father and brother smoke weed. But that's not all. My father inherited money from his deceased father, and my aunt needed it at the time. They're brother/sister-in-laws. Not related. So my dad lent them the money, getting a detailed contract of when he would get the money back. It's been 7 years and now she plainly refuses to repay the last 3,000 euros of it. She's been spreading rumors to our extended family, and now no one wants any contact with us anymore. It's killing my mom, her sister, but sure auntie, we are the problem. Why don't you press charges if you have a contract? Simple. It's complicated. My mom and aunt are the only close family either of them got. In having said that, my mom he always been extremely family oriented and wants things to be alright again. But they won't. Mom is holding my dad back and he knows it'll kill her if he takes her to court. Also, she'll use the weed and press charges for that. I think I might be. I have liberal views both politically and socially, and I have chosen not to have children. This has caused some friction/confusion, but overall we all still enjoy each other's company. I'm the black sheep, in that I'm the odd one out in the way I live my life, but I'm not ostracized for it. I'm not racist, an elitist or a bootlicker. I'm told I'm quite the disappointment. You're pretty chill in my book. Thank you. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.